Hello and welcome back to Unofficially Opinionated. This is the second part of a two-part episode. If you want to catch up, go listen to the first part of this episode and then come back. Also, while we have you here, our team has decided to make this podcast a big deal. One of our goals is to reach 10,000 followers on Instagram and 10,000 subscribers on YouTube. Please help us out by following us on Instagram and subscribing on YouTube if you haven't already done so. We thank you so very much for your support. Also, tell your friends and family so that more people have access to this podcast that you know and enjoy. Please. Now, without further ado, part two of the unofficially opinionated super secret surprise episode. Enjoy. So this technique he has you doing. So after he does that first step, he has you first on your piece of paper. So I asked you all to get a piece of paper and a pen,
Which
right?
took me forever to find, but I have it now.
Yeah.
Yes, good. So you are going to draw first, your best way you can, kind of a portrait of yourself. Don't make it too big because you have a couple of things to write, a few things to write.
Alrighty.
Yes, not a lot. It depends on up to you, but you're going to have some
All
things to
right,
write.
draw a
So
portrait of myself. I haven't drawn in a while.
right,
So,
and just as you're drawing this portrait, think of, and our listeners as well, think of what you want this portrait of you to actually look like, not who it is now, who you want it to be. Who would you like it to be? This can be as fantastical as you would like, or this can be as, sober as you want. Are you drawing, Tim? Because you look like you're looking at the computer.
I'm done drawing.
No,
Okay.
good gracious.
I hope this ain't a stick figure, because
Well, I mean, here's the thing. I mean, yes, mine is a stick figure, okay? And there's reasons why. Because I
Okay.
am a very simple person, and that's how I see myself. I don't want to be
Not how
complicated.
you see yourself, how
No,
you.
that is what I want. I don't want to be. When I was younger, I always told myself I do not want to be an overcomplicated person.
Okay.
Why, you ask?
Mm-hmm.
Because
No, I didn't
there's
ask,
difference.
but
Well,
okay.
there's a difference. There's a difference. I know. Why you don't ask?
Yeah.
He's like, I didn't ask, but please continue.
Yes, but I must.
Yeah.
I feel compelled to explain.
Go ahead. I'm listening.
No, because like there's complicated people when you're working or whatever, right? Then there's complicated people who are just complicated throughout. They relax on the couch in the most complicated way. They don't know how to turn off and just chill sometimes. Like um I've had like people where they'd be like, "Hey, are you about to go to lunch?" Yeah, I'm like, "Yeah, I'm about to go to lunch." And they're like, "Oh yeah, hey, can I come to lunch with you?" I'm like, "Yeah," because they don't know how to be at lunch.
Oh,
We go to
alone, you
lunch.
mean?
Yeah, we go to lunch and we still talking about work and all this stuff.
Oh, yeah,
I
yeah,
like to
yeah.
turn off. I got
Okay.
to turn off because I only got so much mental energy for when it comes to work. So like when I'm at lunch, I'm at lunch.
Okay.
That's just how I am. I mean I don't want to go on lunches and talk about stuff we was just working on.
Well, look, Tim, I'm not trying to
So
tell you how to draw your portrait. I just want you to put your imagination into it. I don't want you to sell yourself short because you want to be simple.
Look, I'm gonna
You
be
can still be
I'm gonna
simple.
be honest. I was mostly drawing, so I heard some of that story. But I guess the listeners heard more of it if they weren't also drawing. But I think Nate was not drawing, so he was definitely intently listening to him. But
I was
I,
listening,
I
definitely,
heard parts
yes.
of it. I heard something about lunch.
yeah.
And you being like, leave me alone, go back, and I don't want to talk to you while I'm eating. But
Right.
All right.
I don't
So
always eat
About,
lunch.
about
I
work.
just
About work. He
yeah, I don't
doesn't want
always
to talk
eat
about work
lunch.
during
no,
I
lunch.
just
he
when
said,
I'm
"Leave me alone and go away."
when I
I ain't
when
here to
I'm
make. I
at
ain't here to
lunch.
make friends.
No, it's like I'd rather talk about other stuff.
This guy.
You know, I'd
Don't
rather
worry.
talk about
I
other stuff.
heard you, Tim. I heard you, Tim.
Here,
I don't know what Chris is
I'm gonna
talking
This
give
looks
about.
nothing like me. Oh my goodness.
I'm gonna give my stick character some better dreads. Okay,
Mine doesn't look like me either.
better
But I
dreads.
drew because I don't really know how to draw. In fact, I don't know how to draw. But I
There you go.
drew
Right off the side
some
of my head.
significant parts on him. So, for example,
Significant.
my
Why am I such a child?
Yeah, no, you're not the only one.
listen. My
It's just when you say significant.
yeah, I know. Listen, my guy has wings, and he has a 6-pack, and he has a glowing heart.
Oh,
Yeah, I didn't draw
So you have a muscular
hair.
angel.
Well, just a 6-pack because the rest of his body.
that's all he cares about.
That's all I want. No. So anyway, then now that you're finished with the portrait, the first thing you want to do is we're going to write down 5 superpowers that this person has. Now, when I say superpowers, it doesn't have to be an actual superpower like invisibility or whatever, flying or something like that. But basically, you're trying to get you want this superpower to be something that um, they are very good at. You know what I mean? So if you want your superpower to be an excellent manager, for example, or so I put my superpower would be, so I put unwavering faith because that's really that's number one for me, and then wisdom I put seer, as in like the ability to see or foresee events and stuff like that. Um, Mines are probably kind of I like mines. Mines are
There's
very
nothing wrong with the ones you put.
Mines are very Nate. So but
Yeah.
you write whatever you want.
Yeah.
I wrote 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. So you're supposed to write 5, but you can write more if you want to. And then when you write each superpower, just give an explanation of kind of what that means to you or to this person. This is very interesting because you can make this, like I said, as extravagant as you want, or you can make it what you're basically trying to do. And this is what the guy explains in the video is he was talking about raising your vibration. And I don't know what that means. I've heard it said a lot. I don't know what that means, but I can tell you what this does from my walk with God. It's ignoring the things that you have called reality up until this point and turning to the things that you know that God is able for you to do. And Jesus said, with God, nothing is impossible, right? So this idea is to forget what the world says is only possible. And now you are saying, I'm a test God to see if nothing is impossible with him, and then going for it. So there's a text in Malachi or Micah, I don't know which one, where he's like, bring ye all the tithes into the storehouse.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's Malachi if I'm not
Yeah, it
mistaken.
is.
Yeah, and then he says, and prove me now herewith if I will not open the windows of heaven and pour you out a blessing that you will not be able to receive it. There is no room to receive it. So I told God, okay, I see this promise. Like, I'm calling you on it. Like, I want to receive so many blessings that I'm literally not able to receive it. Like, I'm just like overwhelmed, super happy, but in a positive sense, overwhelmed, super happy, maybe just crying for joy. Like, I want to see that. That's never happened to me before. I want to see it.
You said you do it. I want to do it. Sort of thing. So this is basically what you're doing is you're teaching yourself, you're stepping outside of the realm of what we have been taught is real and stuff like that. And now you're entering into this realm where anything is literally possible. Anything. And you can go with as far with that as you want to.
All right, I just got one more, then I'm done.
Okay.
Just something for the folks there listening while I'm doing nothing. I've got a lovely bunch of coconuts. Diddly-dee.
No,
There they are. We're standing
Okay.
in the road.
that song.
Y'all remember Lion King? Big one, small one, something as big as your head.
Lion King, you said? Is that?
Yeah,
Oh
I remember,
yeah,
yeah,
that's
but I
true.
remember that
Okay.
before Lion King. So
Oh, I
Oh,
didn't
excuse
remember
me. You're so
uh,
avant-garde. He's like, yeah, I remember before
I hate that
Lion
song.
King.
I hate that song.
that. Before the world was created. I knew that.
I have always known.
Yeah, and it's as I said, like in Deuteronomy 28, something that I've learned is there's no sense in asking for something that's going to harm somebody else, like purposely harm somebody else. Like that's not that's not God's MO. It's bless you and curse somebody else. Like he's really trying to have everybody as happy as they want to be.
All right.
And to be honest, that's kind of why I think we're still here on this earth anyway, just to enjoy it. So,
All right.
y'all good?
I got my 5. You want to hear these jokers? These are interesting.
Tim, did you get your 5?
Oh, 5?
Oh, Tim, look. All right.
What were you doing this
Listen,
whole time?
I will. I'll go over my 5
Yes, go
while
ahead.
Tim finishes his homework.
Okay.
He was like,
Oh,
"Wait,
whatever.
oh, what?
I wrote
Turn the
down
quiz?
3.
Oh, I was just doodling. Hold on. 5, 4, 3. All right.
Yes.
So my first one here is, which I think is, I think they're all interesting because I wrote them.
Yes.
But I put perfect empathy, which I think would be an interesting superpower. So to be able to, the way I described it was essentially be able to perfectly understand another person's feeling, their point of view. It's kind of how I
Mhm.
would describe what I'm just putting down here. So I think that'd be an
Right,
amazing
okay.
superpower. I think it'd be super useful to be able to, just
That is super useful.
perfectly
and
understand
maybe
someone
very
else's
painful.
pain and emotion. So
Yeah.
so that's number 1. Number 2, and I use the word perfectly a lot in here just to be very accurate because I don't want average.
Perfect.
If it's a superpower, right? I don't want to just have
Right.
empathy. It needed
Right.
to be like it needs to be uncommonly amazing, not
Yes,
just the
yes.
thing, right? So it can be like
I agree.
fast.
Yeah.
No, you use super speed, not just run fast.
Right.
Anyway,
Yeah.
I'm on a tangent here. So next one, I had the ability to perfectly define a problem. Just because
Ooh.
I think problem definition is almost more important than like problem solving in a lot of ways because we just it's hard to figure out what the issue is. So I would
Mhm.
love to be able to just like look at the issue and be like, okay, this is the underlying problem. Like we fix
Right.
this thing, then we solve it. If you figure out how to solve it, I'll tell you like what needs to be fixed.
Yeah. Wait, I want to stop you there. Do you think that is possible? Like that ability, that
So
power?
the perfect part of it, no. And I don't think it's necessarily possible for it to be perfect, but I do think it's something someone can be extremely good at, right? And then so I think again I'm being fantastical and using the word perfect for these things just because you said
Mhm.
superpower. But
Yes.
I was thinking about things that like that I would want that aren't like, oh, I want to be able to like spit fire, right? Like to me, like that's cool, but like that's not something that's gonna help
It's
me.
not
I
gonna
think
solve
like in
nothing.
my day-to-day,
Or-
life.
Yeah.
Let me. So, for example, the reason why I asked, like thinking of biblical examples, like Jesus, um, seemed to always be able to analyze a problem, right? So there was times where he would just tell people get up and walk, and there was times where he put mud on people's eyes.
Mhm.
Granted, this is also finding the solution, but he put mud on someone's eyes to whatever. There were times where so in the rest of the Bible, there were the prophets who were like, for example, who was it? Elijah?
Mm,
Elisha, who told told Naaman to go dip in the Jordan 7 times.
Hmm.
Like I do think that is actually perfect problem. What'd you say? What was it? Perfect problem
Definition. So, perfectly
definition.
defining a problem. Yeah.
Yeah, is possible. I mean, I think anything's possible, but that sounds absolutely possible. Like I could see that happening. Anyways,
All
go
right.
ahead.
Yeah. So
Keep going.
next one I had was, this is broad but also very specific. But this one is perfect motivation on whatever I decide to focus on. So
Woo.
it's not necessarily like motivation, but it's like, look, I want to do this, and then I become superhumanly motivated to do the thing, right? And it gets done, because that's
Yeah.
something that is difficult to do. So I
Yeah.
don't know why, but of late I've been thinking about that. Just a lot of things like, why can't I just do the thing? Like there's just so many
Right.
things, like just so many
Oh God,
things.
you were preaching to the
So,
choir.
so many
Listen.
things. Even with this here podcast, I'm like, why did I just do the thing? Like, but part of that's because I'm a perfectionist, and so it makes me not do things. But that's a whole
Mhm.
other podcast. But
Right.
all right,
Mm-hmm.
I've got number 4 is 100% accurate communication with listening and speaking. So to be able to
Okay.
100% understand and communicate effectively, like all the time, like perfect communication, which I think
Mhm.
is impossible. But imagine if you could like perfectly understand and perfectly communicate your thought to someone. I think would be.
I don't think that would be that's impossible, but it is hard. Which is I think I really like the way you phrase that, because you can be a perfect communicator and still have someone on the other end not understand. So
Mhm.
it's not a problem with your communication style. It could be a problem with their understanding style, which is
Right.
quite often, I think, one of the bigger
Yeah.
problems.
And I'll bet
So
Context.
if you mix that with the perfect empathy, you'd be better able to understand like how to speak to them, right? And so like
yeah,
I
mhm,
know what to say to you so that you
right,
understand what I'm saying.
right.
I love it.
That's a prayer that what's his name? I think Paul or Peter, one of the two, asked for. He said something like, "Teach us how to approach or speak to men," or something to that effect.
I mean, it sounds
Very
perfectly
interesting.
possible. Why not?
It is very, yeah. I don't.
It's in there somewhere. It's in there somewhere.
I'm paraphrasing.
Yeah, that's the safe way to be. Yes, there's
Right.
something like somewhere.
So-
Then they can't really nail you
And
down on it.
right, exactly. And then was that it?
No, my
Was-
last
I
one.
did.
My last one
Oh,
was just more, just a fun one. But I put perfect sense of humor. I think it'd be amazing to be able to just to be when I want to be like to be funny. I think it'd be an
yeah.
amazing skill. Like just imagine the friendships and like the diffusing of situations, and just imagine like in business or in speaking or all kinds of things where if I want to inject humor in here, like I can do it
Mhm.
perfectly and it works. And
Yeah.
it's not going to be like cricket. Because I mean, I've always had
I lo-
this dream of like somebody being a stand-up comedian, right? Like I think I'm in
yeah.
some way too shy for that, but I've always kind of wanted to be that person in
Mhm.
some way.
Yeah.
So if I get a superpower, that'd be one of them. So I don't know.
That's interesting.
That's
Okay.
that's my 5.
I like that. Okay, Tim, did you want to
Mm.
share or no? Yeah.
He's like,
Yeah, I'll share.
Okay, go ahead.
Mine are lame. I'll tell you that right now.
First
Yep.
of all, no.
Lame.
First,
Okay.
we
So
hear
if
that.
you're
Sorry. Let me tell
I'm
you.
kidding.
Let me tell you.
okay,
Let me tell you.
go ahead. Go ahead, Tim.
Right.
I'm listening.
The first one I put down is a calming spirit,
A what?
because a
A
calming
what?
spirit.
Oh, okay. Why was that? Why is that lame? What are you talking about?
That's just my
I
first one.
put
They go
favorite
downhill
of
from there.
God. Okay.
That's the first one. They go downhill from there.
Okay. Yeah. Go
All
ahead.
right. And I did that one because I feel like there's not enough of that right now. No, especially in today. There's just really not. Everybody just goes up and up and up and up, and everybody just walks around with the eyeballs popping out their head and stuff, whatever.
Yeah.
Just screaming at each other.
Yep.
So,
I like that. I like that. I like that a lot, actually.
um,
I'm sorry. I like it also because it seems like you know who you are and you see the problem in the world and you're like, I want to be a response to this issue. So That's what I see. That's what I see when I hear that. I don't know if that you don't even have to answer. Like,
No,
He's like,
no,
go ahead.
I mean
He's
that's
like,
kind of
no.
no,
I was just
seriously,
writing. I don't even.
seriously.
I don't know
That's
what
kind
it
of
is.
how I am on it. You
Yeah.
know. So the next one, I'm not sure what this one means to me yet because this has just been a word that's been going through my mind for the past 2 weeks.
Ooh, I like that. Go.
Continuity, right?
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, you'd
See,
have to explain.
He was like, and then
this word, that single word has been going through my mind like every morning when I wake up. It's just been coming to my mind. Continuity. And I'm just getting ready for work. I go outside to the car, and the word is just continuity. It's been going through my head. So
Okay.
there's something in there. I'm not sure what that means yet. I don't know what it is.
Okay.
interesting.
Okay.
I could think of a few ways, but yeah, please continue.
Yeah, I could too. So that's why I would need some specification. But go.
Yeah.
Anyways, go ahead. Yeah.
The context is not there yet. I'll say that.
Yeah. You'd have to. But still, if it's in your head and it's something that you would want to be your superpower, then listen, go for it.
The other one is what I always go for. Would be um, better understanding of wisdom. Right.
Wait, you want to understand wisdom, or you
A
just
little
want
bit.
wisdom?
I want wisdom, but I feel like just to have wisdom, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like to me sometimes, like if my son right now, if I gave him a bag of diamonds, he'd be like, "Thank you," and then he'll go and lose them amounts of room. He has no
Right.
context to what they mean, you know.
Okay, so you go ahead, Chris.
Well, I was gonna say just in my conceptualization of wisdom, it's almost as if how to put it, like if you were to have like perfect wisdom, right? Like it's like superhuman, like a superpower of wisdom.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Inherently, you cannot misuse that or take it for granted because you are wise, right? Like to me, like wisdom is like the correct application of knowledge, right? And so like you wouldn't be able to your point, Tim, like waste it or not understand it, right? Because it is, if that makes sense.
Well,
I don't
I
know.
mean, but if you think about Solomon, who we all consider as the wisest man who ever lived, he asked for wisdom, and then he went out and just did a bunch of stupid stuff that he shouldn't have been
I wouldn't say
doing.
he had
Right.
the superpower of wisdom. Like I guess to me, like when we're talking about superpower, I'm thinking about like the ultimate expression of the thing, not necessarily like pretty good at the thing.
Right.
That's just me.
But wisdom doesn't force you to make a
Wise choice.
Correct.
wise
Well,
choice.
well,
It just gives you
yeah.
the ability to do so.
Right. So I guess
You know?
to this point of understanding wisdom, I don't see how you would misunderstand it if you had it. Now I think you could misuse
Oh.
it, and I think you
okay.
can make a wrong choice. But to me, I feel like if you truly had wisdom, you would understand what it was. Now you could still
I don't know.
choose otherwise, but I feel
I
like you
think
would understand. But maybe that's being in semantics. I don't know. We can get
I think
Richard back to
when it
help us
comes to
with
that, yeah. When it comes to that, here's my mind. Okay, when it comes to that, when I say a better understanding of wisdom, right? We all, and to Chris's point, we all have. If you had perfect wisdom, you may not always make the best choices, right? But you understand wisdom. I don't think you'd understand wisdom, and I'll tell you why. If you think about some of the dumb things that you've ever done, like I can think of a lot of myself, where you have mental wisdom and then you have physical wisdom where your body's like, no, don't do this. This is not the thing you need to be doing, and you're like, yeah, I'm gonna do it, and then you go and do this thing, and then you end up getting hurt and all that stuff, right? Your body is telling you you should not have done that, but just because your body kind of feels it, you know, you don't understand that. You may not understand that feeling to 100%, or you know, you may not you may not care. You know, so oh, don't be afraid to do things. then you jump off that cliff and you find out that parachute ain't coming off. And
Okay.
I listen. We're not going to debate this because I
right,
like that, and it's going to
yeah,
cause me to. I have to think about that. But there is something that you did bring up that is very interesting. I never. There is a difference. I think there's a. I don't know if this is what they call it, but I
hmm
feel like there is a difference between kind of maybe it's not like physical, but maybe it's like subconscious wisdom and then conscious wisdom. There are things where my like you were saying, Tim, my body knows not to do it, or something in the back of my head says not to do it,
hmm
and I end up doing it anyway. But the problem is, and the thing, this is what I've told God about, is like I hear it, I don't know how to act on it. Is the
right,
problem, because it seems so kind of low, or like so like I don't understand. And quite often when it happens, it's like in the moment, and obviously I'm not going to be able to make the proper decision. It appears, so I've told God I want to, and I've left messages about this with a friend of mine in Pennsylvania. But I was like, I want to be able to catch that before I do something stupid, to be able to make that decision, the proper decision. And I want to make the proper decision. Like I want to be able to. So I like that point. Okay. Okay. Anyways, moving on.
all right. And the next one is basically giving my giving my children wisdom. Having them, being able to teach it, or to not teach it, because I know you can't really teach it, but teach teach them a way that they can get wisdom. Because I believe that people get wisdom in like a couple different ways. One is doing things, or observing. You know, like when I was in high school, to tell you the truth, half the stuff that kept me alive and not like some of my friends was because I observed some of my friends,
Hmm.
and I was like, that didn't work out so great for them. And
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and I mean, it's not like my friends are dead or anything like that, but
Hmm.
the stuff that they had to go through after, doing things or whatever, I made a decision, like, I don't want to go through that. And
It's and that's something that you want to teach your kids to do, to
yes,
be able to
sometimes
learn from others' mistakes
sometimes you need to stand
or
back and
transfer that.
observe. You know,
Hmm.
you can't just go head first into everything. You know,
Yeah.
so
Okay.
I,
Okay.
being able to teach that to my kids, that's because yeah, that's proven to be a difficult concept.
Or transfer, because
Yeah,
kids in general, for the most part,
head
I
first.
don't know what the studies are, but they learn by watching. Like they see what you do. So if even if you try to teach it
Right.
verbally, I mean, or in class or whatever, if they see that the parents aren't doing it, or whoever it is that they're the most associated with aren't doing it,
Mhm.
it's going to be hard for them to do it. That, let me see, am I well, I guess it won't be hard for them to do it, no, because I
No,
think
I
if they
don't
have
mean
that
like trying to
personality, they'll be able to do it as
teach them,
well.
but
So
like teach them by example.
yeah.
Well, I
So
mean,
Right, yeah, I feel you.
yeah,
yeah,
if
so
it's a superpower, I mean, we don't care. We don't care how it happens. So basically,
Yeah.
one, you want to be able to have wisdom and understand it. Two, you want to
mhm,
be able to pass that wisdom onto your children in a way,
right.
Right. Yeah,
which is an interesting superpower. I mean, yeah, I like it.
I like it too. Okay, go ahead.
And the last one is it's something slash teaching, is listening, and then you know
Ooh,
and being
that's
able to
deep.
teach how to listen, because I deal with
Hmm?
this thing a lot where what
You're ridiculous.
what what did I miss?
I'm
No,
just so
you said
corny.
listening, and he said, "Hmm."
I'm
No.
just a corny guy. Sorry.
Well, see,
Anyways, go ahead, Tim.
yeah. See, I just I feel like, so like like I said, my first one is calm spirit, and then my last one was listening and teaching. And I think, um, you know, no one's listening to each other. I maybe it's because I watched the news a lot, and I've never sat and watched people on stage sit there and act like they're listening as much as I do when I watch the news. Because they're like,
And act like they're listening,
yeah, they're
but they're
just
really
pretending.
not.
Yeah, just like,
Oh yeah.
yeah, I
Hmm.
understand what you're saying. Anyways, I'm gonna say something that's gonna go completely against what you're saying now. you know,
Yeah. But you said those. You said your superpowers were. What'd you say? They were
lame.
corny. Is that what
Yeah,
you
because they're not.
lame?
It's all
I
because
don't know
all my
what you.
superpowers are here.
But your super. First of all, your superpowers can be whatever you want them to be. So they were what you decided that you wanted them to be, and they were significant for you. And it doesn't mean you're limited to these superpowers either. It's just this is the exercise where you write down five. So like I wrote down my five with the entire expectation of well, I'll tell you later, but the entire expectation of changing it, you know? So, I mean, adding to it, I mean, like we're
Yeah.
not, I don't think we're limited to these things that I really like because it sounds like you actually thought of these things. You thought about it, and that's what you want to do. Your objective is to change from this person that you are currently eventually into this person that you have imagined that you want to be and that you can be, so I like it. All right, so we're going to pass on to the next thing that you're going to write. This is accomplishments. I think
Oh boy.
this was fun for me. I liked it. I mean, all of it was fun. And this one was, this is where you get to write down like what you want to do, like your successes. So write down 5 accomplishments. And just so you all know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I wrote down 7. So write down 5
We're
accomplishments
gonna do
and
bare minimum
what
here.
these.
So
Yeah, because I had more time. But anyways, yeah.
these are desired accomplishments,
Desired
not things
accomplishments.
we've
So, for example,
accomplished.
no. These are things you want to
Got
accomplish.
it.
You want this person that you drew
Got it.
to accomplish. So I'll give you examples while you write. One of mine was that I easily make more than more than 200,000 a month consistently, um, by either a hobby that I'm doing or a job that I enjoy doing. Um, and I put that within the year 2023. So I want to be able to do this within, whatever. I had another one where I put down I created a very successful podcast that garnered more than 100,000 more than 100,000 subscribers, and guests, both famous and non-famous, signing up to be on it within this year, 2023. Let's see. Another one that I put was, well, this one's really personal, so probably won't put that one down. um, I mean, say that one out loud. Um, Oh, here's one. This is one that resonates with the abs here. I am in absolutely perfect health with 10% body fat, very defined, no love handles, and a 6-pack.
Hey.
Bam. Yeah. So I was very, very specific. Um, I also have one that you were probably going to laugh at. Created an incredibly successful business making and selling BDSM short films.
There we go.
Very personal. So very specific for me. But anyways, you do whatever it is that you all like to do. You're done, Tim? Oh no, sorry. Okay.
Hmm.
Chris, did you finish, or you can't think of
Uh,
any more?
So I've got 3. I need 2 more. Yeah. I forgot we were
95
an audio podcast. I'm just sitting here.
Yeah.
Yeah, all through
You're
my
just
brain.
sitting there.
It was
Yeah.
You're just sitting there like,
dead air.
You got
But
really
it's something.
quiet for a second. We
Yeah.
all got really
Yeah.
All right. So yeah,
Well, but
I
it's
got
good
I got
because you're
3. I need
thinking.
2
quiet. Oh, I
more.
dropped my little
I'm
pen.
trying to think
Okay.
about accomplishments.
You could also consider these successes, obviously.
Yeah.
So
So I'm gonna say
See, my
and they
accomplishments.
don't have to be like work or money oriented either. They could be family oriented. One of mine is family oriented.
mhm.
One of mine is this guy says I remember I think he said he was like usually he tries to get his clients to put them in different areas of their life, but some things have a higher priority than others and stuff like that. So I think just because of the way my personality works, like I like to have things happening, doing stuff. So 3 of mine were from just like doing stuff, and I still have more because which I didn't put down, which I'll put down later. But I want to be in real estate, for example.
Do 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 do. Yeah, I don't think mine was that specific, but I need 1 more. I'm almost done. You done, Tim? I think Tim's face said no.
Yeah, I think
He's just
I don't think
eyebrows.
he's-
I'm like, what does that mean? I don't know.
It means
But,
I have 4 until I'm done.
I mean, listen,
Look.
if you can only get out 4, leave it at 4.
I'm gonna stop at 4
No,
for
no,
now,
no, no,
or
no.
I'll do 4.
I only
and-
have 1.
All right.
I
Well,
have
look,
4 until I'm done.
I'm gonna read my 4.
Oh, you have 4 until. Oh my
All
goodness.
right. Well,
this
I'm
guy.
gonna read my 4 while Tim's writing.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So my number 1 is to own a business that passively supports my lifestyle. So basically I don't want to have to be at the business for it to be supporting me.
Right.
So,
Right.
yeah.
Okay.
I'm not trying to have to be at work. Now what does support me mean? That's number 2. So and this is specific.
You want to what? Support what?
I said, so what does support my lifestyle mean? That's really going to be
Oh,
this is
right.
number 2. So really,
Oh, okay.
I said I want to be able to make any purchase under $1 million without regard for cost.
Ooh, I love that.
So to me, like
Jeff Bezos.
I don't need any specific amount of money, and $1 million is probably even too high for what I'm saying. But
Mhm.
the real goal is just to think about the things that I enjoy,
Mhm.
not how much things cost. That's really
agree.
the goal.
Yep. Yep.
Amount of money to me, it doesn't matter.
Right.
That's the goal that
Yeah,
matters.
you just
right?
want to enjoy.
I just want
exactly.
to.
You
Hey,
just want to enjoy
like
life.
I want to eat this. I want to go
Yeah.
here. I want
Mhm.
to do this thing. Because ultimately, like I don't want some $500,000 car. Like I really don't. Like I don't want like
Yeah.
that's not enjoyable to me. Like even the yacht thing, right?
Right.
Like I might want to lease one for a year and go tour, and then I don't need it anymore. You know what I mean? Like I don't
Yeah.
have to have it. But I want to be able
Yes.
to do it.
Speaking of the yacht thing, because that's interesting. I didn't write that down, but the yacht thing, I do want to. What's interesting is that I know that I won't be using it very often, but I was going to use it as this is like I've thought about this. Like I was talking to Leo about it when we were visiting. What's it? Saint Tropez. We were visiting Saint Tropez, and I was telling him about it. I was like, "Oh, we could get a yacht, and then we wouldn't use it all the time, but then we just rent it out to people who would love to take a yacht on the ocean, like if they're travel or visiting and stuff like that,
Mhm.
and you could rent it out for much cheaper than you would than they would if they were kind of renting it out from the clubs there
Right.
or something
Like
like
the
that.
Airbnb for yachts.
Yeah, exactly, precisely.
right.
That's exactly what
Yeah.
I was thinking. So,
That's
anyways,
not-
yeah,
exactly.
cool.
Yeah, to me,
That's
like
nothing
I
ever
don't.
thought about with yachts.
Yeah, like I'm not here like I have to like have all this stuff, but like certain experiences I
Mhm.
want to be able just to go do, and that might be
Yep.
one. Like, hey, we got to
Yep.
get out for a weekend or the week or whatever. So,
Yep.
all right,
I
the
totally
other
understand.
one
Yep.
is number 3 is visit at first I said every, then I thought about, just the different laws and dangers. So I put visit 90% of the countries with my wife. So
Oh.
I had 100. I had every country. I was like, I don't really, probably not every, but I'm gonna
Yeah,
say
yeah.
90%. I'd like to be able to go to with my wife and travel and just
Nice.
go do those
Okay.
things. I think that'd be really awesome. And then the
Okay.
last one I have is I really would like to create an endowment that supports minority children studying the arts.
Mm.
So whether that's music or acting, whatever. But I would really enjoy. And this one I know my wife would also enjoy. She probably would love to just actually run the thing. but
All right.
I just, that's something that the more I'm around the arts and with Jaden and other things, like I'm like, man, like this is important, and it's something that's so, like, in a modern society, it's so unnecessary in some way, right? Like,
Hmm.
do we need music and or whatever? Like, we don't need it, but we do
Yes,
need it. You know what I mean?
Yes, we
Like,
do.
it's
we need
yeah,
it.
right.
Yes,
I mean, but
yeah,
you see, like in
Part of
schools and
us.
stuff, where like it's non-essential, but it's very much
yeah,
essential. It's one of those things,
yes,
right? Like,
exactly.
okay, at
Yeah,
the end of the day, like if you can't read and write, you're stuck, right? So,
right. Yeah,
but this other thing is super important in so many
right.
ways. So
Hmm.
if we don't keep supporting it, then it dies, right? And then
Then it can
and
die
then we
off.
don't
Yeah,
have it anymore. Like,
right. Hmm.
let's think about how much music is in like everything we do, like all the movies and games, all
Oh,
stuff got music.
definitely.
Like, it didn't come from nowhere. Like, someone is doing
Yeah.
it, someone is playing it, someone is like doing the score for all this stuff. And so, we
Have you?
need more of our kids in that environment. So.
Side note: have you seen those video or those like clips of when they're like music? The choice of music is everything, and they'll
Oh,
play like a movie film.
absolutely, right? Yeah, those things. Yeah, it's like, yeah, it'll be some intense scene, but they switch to like some love song.
Yeah,
And you're like,
yeah,
oh. But yeah, like music can so change your mood and all kinds
yeah.
of things. So yeah, so
Yep.
I would love to really be a part of that. When I was at the symphony last night, I'm always looking at those donor lists, like the different categories, and I
Hmm.
always look at that top one and like,
One day,
that'll be
yeah.
me. It'll be,
See,
this place is sponsored by the Moore Foundation. I'll have my box seat
yeah,
up here, and not
yeah.
in a
That's so
flex
nice.
way, but like I
No,
would
I
be
agree.
able to,
Yeah.
like, hey, I'm trying to go out tonight. I go and I go
Hmm.
sit in my seat, like, and
Yeah.
that I think would just
Hmm.
be part of the whole thing. I think would just be an amazing thing. So that's kind
Yeah.
of my four. I didn't have a fifth, but I wanted to give Tim a chance to write down more than one. So
Yeah. How many you got,
Tim,
Tim?
I got 3.
Okay,
good
go
enough.
ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, mine is very far fetched.
I mean, I
Again, you don't
think
have to preface
it's
your
the
choices. Just
the
No,
whole concept is
no,
supposed to be
no,
far
no.
fetched.
Wait till,
It's
yeah, okay,
yeah.
yeah. Wait till you hear. Okay, far fetched.
Okay, go, Tim. We're
Yeah.
listening. Go ahead.
Anyways, first one, living as long as this body will live, right? So I'm all about
That's very limited.
no.
living
As far
as
no,
long
because
as this body will live.
I'm saying like I'm talking about like as far as this body. You know what I'm saying? I'm not talking about like what happens
Yes.
after.
Yeah, but that's
But
very limited. So if you get shot tomorrow, you will have lived as long as
No,
that
no,
body
no,
was
no,
going to
no, no,
live.
no, no. That's not as long as the
Not that
body.
I want you
That's
to
not
get
what I
shot.
mean. That's not what I mean at all.
Dark much?
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not talking about like as long as this body would live in this world. Of course, that's not what I mean. He got hit
Oh.
by a bus. Oh,
All right.
he could have.
Wait, so what are you
No,
talking about there?
I'm talking about like, cause okay, yeah, maybe I need to explain this one better. So I watch a lot of things where people right now they're when they talk about like they talk about death. They talk about a lot of the things that that brings on death. Uh,
Hmm.
they're focusing on it right now. They're calling it a disease. They're not saying that we'll never die, but they're saying that our body has things that says that like they prove like our body should be living longer than we should live.
Oh, definitely.
That than we live now.
Hmm.
And ever since they said like we've been living longer every so often. They said in the 40s or
Hmm.
50s or something like that. The average lifespan was like late 40s, 45.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So
Hmm.
we've been progressing in the average lifespan.
Well,
So
according to the Bible, reprogressing, because according to the Bible,
Yeah,
they used to live,
long
centuries.
time, and that's exactly what I'm saying.
Listen, there's a Bible text that I memorized it because it's a promise that I'm holding God to. And it's Psalms 91, and at the end of it, it says, uh, jeez, I said I memorized it. Now I can't remember. No, he says
He said,
you will call on me, and I will answer him. I will be with him in trouble. I will deliver him and set him on high. With long life will I satisfy him and show him my salvation. So it's a promise. It says with long life. Well, obviously, it doesn't mean like, you know, I was expecting to die like at like 30, before 30, um, but that didn't happen. Now, as you all know, I don't think I will die, but we will see.
yes,
So-
we will.
To be confirmed.
To be confirmed, exactly.
Right.
But I don't think I will die.
Like, see, I
not
told
from
you.
my own not from my own. Well, I think exercising is definitely going to help me just live a healthy life. But I think that if I don't die, it'll definitely be the power of God. So what you're saying, Tim, I think is definitely a possibility. Not saying that anything is impossible, but like you're saying this, and I'm just like, yeah, I see it happening. So
Mhm.
now that you explained it, because before I wasn't understanding, but
Oh,
yeah,
I
I'm,
watch
I'm
a
still
lot of
not
stuff.
quite there, but it's okay. I don't have to be.
I watch
It's
a
all
lot
good.
of stuff, and they talk about like they talk about the factors that when it comes to like the reason why we die.
Hmm.
They say it pretty much comes down to very simple things where
Oh yeah.
think
Hmm.
things like our cells stop replicating, and
Hmm.
um and then they stop cleaning a lot of the gunk that we have in our bodies. They start holding them, and then we get senescent cells, you know, and then like we have, and then there's other things, there's other factors that's in our DNA where we have like telomeres, and they on these telomeres, they at the tips they have like caps like off on your shoelace, and
Okay.
as those unwind, you know, they the telomeres themselves will start to degrade. And
Okay.
so those are things that they can tell, like, they can kind of tell, those are factors they can see and see kind of how long you are going to live. And so
Right.
far they've been pretty accurate.
Okay.
Um so anyways, off of that.
Yes.
So
Moving on.
basically,
Moving on.
you don't want a premature death. Got you.
Yeah.
Do
Because
you want to live until the return?
of the
Well, no, it's not
Jedi.
that I want to live into the return, because I feel that if God's like, look, I don't want you to be there for all that.
I mean, he could translate you, which is what I think is going to happen to me. So
Yeah, but I'm saying, like, I think God's gonna know. He knows us all individually, right? Like they
yeah,
say,
but I
He's
also
not
think
gonna
it's
put us in
what you
nothing that we
ask him
can't.
for.
Well, no.
Because if you don't ask him to if you don't ask him to go to get translated, perhaps.
No. That's
I
not what
mean,
I'm
because the
saying.
Bible says that Enoch was translated according to faith, meaning he asked it, he believed it, so he got it.
Yeah, but what did Enoch experience? I mean,
Apparently, a lot according to the book of
so
Enoch, but
yeah, that's what I'm saying. So what I'm saying
but I
is,
mean, yeah,
he
go
knows
ahead.
us all individually, and
Right.
he's not gonna put us nowhere, that we can't be, or we're gonna fail. I don't believe that. Never did. So
No, but okay.
say,
Anyways, that's a whole nother
yeah,
discussion.
yeah.
Go ahead. Keep
So
keep going.
number
Keep
I'm
going.
gonna
Keep
live
going.
as
number
long as
two.
that I can live,
Right.
whatever that means. Okay.
Okay. Go ahead.
So, uh, and this kind of goes into this thing, because I always in my head, and this is when I
Mm-hmm.
got all what you guys a long time ago in one of the episodes. Find a better way, or at least witness the change of the standards of life on Earth. Yeah,
Okay.
far fetched.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Do I need to
I mean,
elaborate on
how
that?
much time do
Or
we have? Actually, I wasn't. I don't.
I mean, we're
'Cause
we're we're running a bit long, so I don't
Tim got these
Oh.
know.
long-winded explanations.
Nathan's like, all right,
Listen.
30 minutes. Tim, go explain.
So
To be honest, it only just matters if you.
I'll
it's for
just
you,
shorten it
obviously.
up. I can shorten it up. I think basically, like, so back when we was young, right? When we was still going to, we was all still going to the same church, right? I had this issue. I've always had this issue when it came to Christians, right? And this is not just like our denomination or whatever, right?
Okay.
It was always the bigger portion of Christians. And one thing I felt like we always forgot and we taught was, went totally against. We was taught to be consumers.
Okay.
Everything was, you know, to get to have, maybe not to ask, but to get to have. We was like, oh, I want a house. Oh, I want to be able to support my family and stuff like this. That means, and when you think about, when you break these things down in your mind, what does that mean? Okay, that means food. That means water. That means materials. Okay, that means all this stuff that comes from the earth, right?
Right.
Okay,
And
so we are
and your
taught to
superpower
consume,
was.
huh?
Yeah. Oh,
It's not a superpower. That's not what these are.
sorry. This is the accomplishment,
Nate,
success.
Yeah.
Nate,
So
Nate is so confused.
I'm so. Wait. So what was you? What remind me what your
So
your success
when I
was?
when I said that, it's not a success that I want personally, but the success really is like, is people on earth. I believe that we are over consuming.
Okay, because you can't change the people on Earth. So the
Yes, you
idea
can.
is that no
There's
people.
lots of
Everybody chooses.
individuals who change the majority,
No, that you can't. People make their own decisions about who they're going to be,
but they
right?
influence the majority.
Yeah, you can be an influencer, so
That's what
that
I'm
might
saying.
be what your
That's what I'm
success
saying.
is. Okay, so you want to be an influencer.
It may, like someone who influenced choice, or at least if I can't do that myself, be around long enough to witness the change. There's lots of things right now that's been changing, you know.
Okay.
So
So
I th-
I don't ever believe that we should disbelieve in the power of one.
No, I don't disagree with that. But okay, anyways, listen, I'm not trying to correct
Oh
your
no,
thing.
I
I'm
get
just
what
trying to
you're
wrap
saying.
my head around what you're saying. But listen, I don't want to correct it. Sorry, that's
No,
just
no, it's
me
fine.
just
It's fine. If you,
going over.
it's fine. And then the other one,
As yeah, go ahead.
and then
And the last one,
the last one is leaving Earth. See, far fetched.
leave the Earth.
Yeah, leaving Earth.
how
Oh,
far?
okay.
I don't know.
Is that a success?
Yes,
Okay, you successfully left the Earth. That's what you mean?
yes.
Just boop. Okay, look at you
It's a
going to
success.
space. You mean, or
Well,
like
because
going
okay,
to
see,
heaven?
yeah. Well, I mean, either way, I want both.
Okay.
But I'm like, as far as like leaving Earth, like I'm all about, in the original context of mine when I wrote that was I'm all about space and space venture.
Oh yeah, me too.
Okay,
Oh my goodness, yeah.
so
Take me.
I want to leave Earth because
Okay.
I think the what I had before, finding a
Mm-hmm.
better way of living, or at
Mm-hmm.
least witnessing change, I don't think that will ever happen until we leave Earth, because right now we're just spoiled children with everything we need.
Trust me, if we left Earth, we do the same thing wherever we were gone. So, like, if we haven't changed,
I don't think
okay,
so.
listen, we ain't got
I
time
think
to go into the logistics of this, but those are very interesting. So, you
yeah, far
think
fetched.
about the other two, um, to fill in because that's important. So, we won't go over the ones that you're going to write next, but just write them down, okay? 'Cause, we don't have any time. So, the next thing we're going to do is write down 5 habits that you want your your future you to have. So for example, I put going to the gym 5 days a week every week,
every day.
5 days a week, every week.
Mhm.
Um, you know, and I put constantly get I also constantly get 8 hours minimum of very restful and reparative sleep. So any habits that you want. Did I write down just five? I did. I wrote down five. Like one of them I wrote, I also love to work on at least one project a day, which is something I actually do want to do. Questioned it. Problem is my brain won't let me.
Mhm.
So yeah, five habits. You done? No?
I've got 3
Okay.
so far.
Okay.
Da-da-dun, da-dun-dun-dun. All right, so I'm not as ambitious as you, but I put regular exercise.
Oh.
Um, it may be more or less ambitious, but it's not as specific, I guess.
It is definitely
Um,
your
right.
flavor. You put
Yeah.
whatever you want.
I've got number 2 is weekly date night because I'm very bad at that. But
I
I
put
would
that
like
too.
that to be like a habit that I actually do. And then for a while I was doing this, but it's read/listen to at least 2 books a month. I was on a good
Hmm.
run. I actually was doing that for a while, but part, part of the issue was that I found podcasts, which kind of took
Oh
my
yeah.
audiobook time away. Which I guess
Hmm.
honestly, most of the podcasts I listen to is not like it's not throwaway stuff. So I'm still engaging and learning. It's just not in a book format. So I don't even know. As I'm thinking about it, like is the whole idea of like reading X number of books even like a little bit antiquated? Maybe I'm not
Mm-mm.
Hmm.
sure, but I put it here for now to be adjusted. So that's 3 I have so far.
Okay.
So
Okay. Tim, did you
So
finish?
I was about to say you guys are gonna say Tim. Okay. Uh,
I mean, I said we weren't going to share, but Chris shared anyway. So
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
I mean, I had 3, so I think I'm gonna share them. But
So I wrote one thing
Okay.
because it's basically what you guys all just said.
We'll
Better
say it.
time management.
Ah. Okay.
That's basically what you're saying. You're like, I want to work out every week for 5 days. So basically every day but the weekends. And or whatever those five
Well,
days
not
and then within
necessarily.
yeah, that's what I
Yeah.
say. Whatever those five
Yeah.
days are within the week. And Chris is basically saying time management. I want to do X and Y and
Well, it's not
so
always
time management.
about time management. It's a habit. So, for example, you might want to eat healthier. That's not necessarily time management. It
But
just
none of
might
you
be
guys said
something
that.
that you want to do. No, I didn't.
no, I
That's
don't
what I'm
care about
saying.
that.
Because
Everything
I want to eat what I want.
when I want,
I'm just saying from what
how I want.
I'm just saying I wrote this down, right? And then I
Right.
noticed everything you guys are saying was
Okay.
time
Yeah.
management
Yeah.
things.
Basically. But my brain is the problem. It has an issue with time management, and this is why my habits are time management. Okay. Well, you'll want to write for our listeners who are also participating in this. You want to write 5 down. You can take as much time, obviously, as you want. I think it took me probably a total of an hour to get everything down. So the next thing that we're going to write down is your style, what this person will look like. So, for example, I love wearing vests. So I put down vest, but I don't have the money to buy vests, but I would like to be wearing vests. This guy was talking about wearing a Rolex on his arm. Doesn't mean, again, like you're flexing or anything like that. You just might happen to like Rolexes, or you might happen to like what a Rolex means, for example. So I like wearing really nice clothing, which happen to be also usually pretty expensive. So there's no problem with wearing nice clothing that is expensive, right? It's just if you have this style, if this is the style that you want, go for it.
Mm,
I also put that I have my, haircut uh low all the time, and my goatee is not perfectly shaved right now, but and I cannot do it. This is what happens when I try to shave my goatee. So I try to, if I had the ability, I'd get it, you know, cut up every week, so I'd just be looking fly all the time, sort of thing.
Mm.
So what's your style like? Then there's no limit to this. I wrote.
So I probably shouldn't say Costco.
I mean, if you want to, I'm saying I
mean,
I drove a hydrogen fuel cell car.
that's
Okay,
better than me. I
so
put my character's wearing jeans and hoodies every day.
y'all got to think outside the hood. Okay, like you got like go to where you would like to be. Like where you would want this person to be.
I mean,
If
the-
you
the-
had no restrictions,
The
this
only
is where you
style
want to go.
piece, since you mentioned a car, is that I do want a Tesla. I wanted one for a while now, so that's kind of my
Ooh.
automobile style. Like Tesla, it's a mobile computer. Like that. Like
Yeah.
forget like what it is. Like I like that it's so much technology in it. That's really what I like
Yeah.
about it.
That's really cool. Yeah.
That's why I want one. So
All right,
that's
well,
that's
put it
that's
there
my
if you
my
put it
my
down.
driving style.
Okay. I have wanted a fuel cell car or a fuel cell car since university. We did a experiment with it, and I was like, "Oh, this is the future," and it ended up being electric cars, and I was like, "Oh, boo, electric cars." But I think I would like a Tesla eventually. If I was
Yeah.
going to get an electric car, it would be a Tesla. Like I wouldn't get any other electric car.
You know something? I did
Mhm.
not expect you to say that. I figured you would say, and then like because they exist, I think, but an electric Mustang. I don't know why. That's what I was thinking.
No.
I don't know why. Because
Like
I remember
no.
somebody
I
telling
lo-
me that they wanted a Mustang.
I love Mustangs. I will
But
not.
the electric one
and-
isn't really a Mustang. I mean, it's branded
Oh.
Mustang, but it's not a sports car.
It's not okay, so Mustangs aren't sports cars, they're muscle cars.
This guy's getting very specific, but I get it. I get it. I get it. I deserve
And
that.
that is the reason why you cannot have
deserve
an
it.
electric Mustang. Like that is impossible. What are you
But-
doing?
But
How
What are
is
you doing
that
with your life?
impossible?
I mean,
because it's not strong enough.
these Teslas
we don't know
are
that.
the torque on them are super ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like, if you get a Tesla Plaid, I think they go to 0 to 60 in like is it like under 3 seconds? It's
I hear-
something
you know, some-
ridiculous.
I always hear this like, oh, you can't have a muscle car. Okay, so my
You
mind
can have a
tells me
muscle
this.
car.
No, they say you can't have an electric car as a muscle car. And I tell myself this, okay, so we have a muscle car, we have a regular car, and we have what? Give me a sports car, right? What do they all have in common? They all have
It's a
engines.
car.
They all have engines that burn gasoline. Why can't you have
Yes.
different types of electric engines?
They do.
I mean, you can't just you do. It's not okay. Listen, again, another podcast.
We
Moving
are-
on.
yeah.
Moving
This
on.
is-
Yeah, we're just. This is probably gonna
Not
have to be
today,
cut up into
Satan.
2 sections.
We're
Part
gonna stay
2.
focused.
Okay, and so the last thing that we're going to write down are 5 affirmations for this person. Okay, so you're gonna write down like I wrote down, which is something I really struggle with. Is Nate is the most patient and loving and understanding
Oh,
and supportive person anyone has ever met.
oh my goodness! I need that. Just,
Right.
just gonna copy paste that one.
I have been
Let me
working
just
on
copy paste.
You just-
Word for word.
so these are the so you write down 5 affirmations. I wrote down 6. One of the affirmations I wrote was Nate knows how to be satisfied in asking. He knows how to joyfully accept the will of God in love and confidence. I put, joyfully accept the will of the Most High in love and confidence. I was in the zone, so, that's why I was writing like that. But my problem is, like, I'm not sure how much to ask for, like we were talking about, just like, is this greedy? So I want to ask for what I want and be satisfied with when it's enough, And in the
Mhm.
meantime, I am going to look up this video that I got this from, because then I can share it with everybody. Let me see here. His name is Quasi Johir.
Mhm.
Quasi Joe here.
Quasi Johir, yes.
What does that mean to me?
That's his name. I mean,
Yeah, but it sounds like he's halfway here.
oh, that is rude.
This
That's his
guy.
name. Okay,
This guy.
we're not going to be mocking this guy
Like,
for
what
his
kind of
name.
name is
No, I
this,
feel
huh,
like
guys?
that's like I don't think that's is that. Oh wait, hold on. First of all, is that his like his real authentic name, or is it like his name that he made up for?
Listen, he refers to himself quite often as Quasi, so I'm pretty sure this is
Because
his name.
I just don't believe people say they're not gonna like call themselves something without, especially that like
I
that,
think
without
Quasi
having
is
a
a pretty
purpose.
common African name, though.
Not Quasi.
Yeah, and he might be
Kwame.
Arab.
Kwame.
I've heard Quasi.
Quasi means
I
you know.
mean,
We
in
are
English,
not discussing. We're
yes,
not
we
discussing
are.
this guy's
We're
name.
discussing everything.
No.
All tangents are valid in this today's podcast.
We are not
It's gonna be
insulting
3
somebody.
hours.
I'm not trying. No. Okay, don't get me
We're
wrong.
discussing
I'm not trying to
everything
insult
in
nobody.
detail.
I'm not trying to insult nobody, but what I'm saying is like I feel like okay, to be honest, like if I gave myself that name, it would mean something very specific to me. That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
but he didn't give it to himself. I don't think.
That's
Look,
what I'm saying.
I'm pretty sure.
If
Tim,
that's
as
his
an
real
example,
name, then that's different.
there's a congressman here in Baltimore. His name is Kwaisi, which is very close to Quasi. So but I've
Yeah.
also heard Quasi, but it's but it's spelled with a K, not a QUAS, whatever. Okay, so done. All right, cool. We'll move on, Nate. Sorry.
Did you all get your 5 affirmations?
All right,
Yeah,
1,
you know
2,
something.
3. I've
I
got
got
4.
2. I got 2. Well, I got 1, and I wrote my name down, and then you said that name, and then I forgot all I was gonna write after that.
Right.
So
So
all I got is 2.
I didn't refer to myself in third person for mine, but I just said I. So
Okay.
I just put I am a patient and loving person. I look for the best in others. I'm not afraid to speak my mind and say what I want. I freely give compliments to others and tell them what is good about them.
Okay.
So
You know,
that's
the
fine.
affirmations also could be work related or something like that.
Yeah, I
as
mean, I
well.
think these also go to work as well. But
Yeah.
I mean, especially asking for what I want and speaking my mind. I'm not very good with that.
Yeah.
I guess
Okay.
mine was just basically I wrote 1, and it's basically Tim knows when to stop being patient.
Okay.
Okay.
Tim's ready.
Sometimes
His is just the opposite of
He's
ours.
ready to get it
We need
in.
patience. He's
sometimes
like,
my wife tells me sometimes I'm too patient on things.
mhm.
You know,
I get it.
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, I mean that
yeah,
happens.
I mean that's where I kind of mentioned like I'm not afraid to speak my mind and say what I want. Like I think that's a similar thing where I'll just kind of let things go a lot of time to avoid conflict. I get it.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, no. We know.
I
Nate.
mean, I let things go until I'm just like, okay, I've had enough. I'm hoping, crossing my fingers, and then whatever. But okay, so the idea is that you've written these things down, right? And you're going to put this by your bed. Our listeners as well. You're going to put this by your bed, and every morning that you wake up, you're just going to read this this list that you made, your superpowers, your habits, your style, and your affirmations, your accomplishments. Hopefully I didn't repeat anything there, but anyways, yeah. So
Mhm.
you're going to read those every day for 40 days, like the children of, or like Jesus was in the wilderness.
Okay.
So you're going to read this for 40 days, and after 40 days, you're going to see how close you have already approached this person that you have created, that you have kind of projected that you're projecting.
Mhm.
Okay.
All right.
You're going to see how close you've gotten in 40 days.
I don't know if I can get to mine in 40 days.
What do you mean?
That's not the point, Tim. Not the point.
No.
Okay, I'm looking at my stuff and I'm like, yeah, a lot of this stuff is like lifetime achievement things here.
No,
I think what happens is this is what I tell a lot of people is because we lack a lot of wisdom and understanding, excuse me, and just knowledge in general. We use our imaginations. We come up with where we want to go, and as I said before, if you're a Christian, believing in God or whatever, He directs you. You know, you might be looking totally in the wrong direction. Your mind might be thinking in a totally different direction than what your imagination is doing, and he brings those two into alignment. You never know how it's going to end up working. For example, me and Chris, you wanted a computer. My mind was completely in left field for a computer that you wanted. I prayed for a computer for you. You, I guess, prayed for a computer. I don't know if you did. But you ended up getting a computer in the time that I said, but it wasn't the computer that I had in my mind, because I had in my mind something that I told you I had a gaming computer, but you
Right.
got the computer that you said was absolutely essential for you, at least at this moment, and I was like, well, that's something I had to be satisfied with because first of all, it's not for me. And second of all, if you are convinced, like that this is something that you wanted, then and that you need it, then that's where it needs to be at this moment, and that's why I was like, oh, so the gaming computer will probably come later, which it definitely will come later. But yeah, so I think that that's how that works. It's you're not trying to dictate exactly how this is. Your imagination might be thinking one way, but your heart is thinking another way, and then God just brings those into alignment. The things that you want, you need, the things that you desire, and stuff like that, into alignment with, His will plus what, just the underlying thing. I don't know. I'm not a specialist in this thing. Like, I'm really just trying things out, but I'm telling you, this is what my experience has been. He just brings those things into alignment. So it's not about you trying to exactly pinpoint the way that this is going to be. You put it out there. You tell God that this is what you want. And you're going to read it for 40 days, every day for 40 days. And at the end of 40 days, you're going to you're going to evaluate it and see how close you are. It doesn't mean that you have had to completely reach it, although the hope is that you get really, really close to this, and you're able to say, oh, actually, this is actually what it should have been, sort of thing, without making concessions either, right? So you don't want to be like, well, maybe if I twist it this way and look at it from the side a little bit to the left, maybe barely I can see it. No, the idea is you see it, it's what you wanted or that what you needed, and you're happy with it.
So Nate,
or at least you can learn to be happy
the goal
with it.
the goal isn't, hey, in 40 days I've accomplished this list of things.
No, the
Right.
goal is, this is who I want to become.
Right. And
right.
yeah.
And
in 40 days we'll evaluate how close am I to being this person. Not necessarily
exactly.
Oh, I don't have $1 million, so like this is a fail, right? It's like
No,
this whole thing
exactly.
is trying to help you work on being the person that these things really apply to, right? And
Yeah, so this thing is
yeah,
exactly. It's constructing. It's what it's doing is reconditioning your brain to stop thinking so limited and start thinking bigger. Start thinking, what is it really that I want, or that I want to accomplish, that I've always been told maybe I couldn't, or that I just assumed that I wasn't able to do. It's really getting you out of the box that you've put yourself into or allowed other people to put you into, and just opening and just experiencing the world. And when you do it, in my opinion, when you do it with God, it becomes just this thing where you realize that absolutely nothing is indeed impossible. Like there's things you can do that you haven't even imagined that you could do. You just, whatever. So no, it's not about you. You might. So for example, if so, like I made 200,000 a month within this year. Like I start making $200,000 a month within this year, right? I say within this year. So in 40 days, I may or may not be making 200,000. But for example, I'm making nothing now. I might end up making, 100,000 just, with some project maybe that I came up with, or, getting just this right job. And
I
then
should have somebody to run.
between then and I mean, within 40 days and the end of this year, I would hopefully end up coming to 200, making 200,000 a month. Or sorry, 200,000 a month. Yes, exactly. And I know this is something that you think unfathomable, whatever, blah, blah, blah. It is absolutely not. There are people who have done it just very easily. They call it luck. It's not necessary. I mean, it could be luck, but I don't think it's really luck. I think it's really got to do with and something to I wanted to say something about what you were saying, Chris. Yeah, you're working on yourself, obviously. So this is the beginning of you working on yourself. But there's a lot of stuff that maybe you have hoped for that you actually cannot do, yourself. So it's like, okay, there he's back. So there's things that you can't do that you are giving God permission to do for you, you know? And I think like usually like 70-80% of the things that you want to happen are out of your control. So I am unable to control how much money I'm going to make between now and the end of the year. I just want it. But when the opportunity comes, I'm taking it, So my husband, he was telling me about there's like this whole long story about the winning the lottery. This guy wanted to win the lottery, and he kept praying to win the lottery, and he wasn't whatever. And then God said something like, he lost his family, then blah blah blah, and he was like, "I said that you could win the lottery, but you have to buy the ticket." And then Liam had told me, he was like, "Yeah, so you have to do, your part. This is true, but the problem is when people hear that, what they usually think is, I got to do all of this. I got to do this, and that, and that, and that, and that, and that, and maybe then this will work, or blah, blah, blah." And I told him, no, I think from what I have experienced, it's you do your part. And at the same time, God is doing his part, and those two collide, right? So yes, you can buy a ticket to win the lottery, but it doesn't mean you have to buy 50. You probably just have to buy one. You know what I mean? So that was your part, buying that one ticket. Not saying if you have to win the lottery, but this is what I'm saying. This is the idea. So you're not over here burning yourself out trying to achieve the person that you want to be. It goes and it flows. It's a harmony sort of thing,
Yeah.
So
One depends on I guess you're saying God. Another one depends on the God of probability. So two different things.
there's no probability. I mean, there is
No,
probably
if you're saying you have to buy multiple tickets, that's what I'm saying. That it's a joke.
so well, yeah, but the thing about just lottery or just these types of things, in general. So it could be lottery or even, trying to get a job is also like playing the lottery. So, but it can be, instead of just sending your resume out to a million different companies and hoping that one will return, you just end up knowing, oh, this is the one that I need to send my resume to. And you do. Or somebody will come to you. This is actually how I got into Andrews, right? Because I would have had to send my resume out to a bunch of other schools. And instead, Chris came to me. He was like, "Hey, look, this is
Speaking of
going
Chris,
down at the school." And he was like, "You should apply." I applied. I got in. It was the only school I applied to, and I
yeah,
got in. So those things happen. So that's what I mean. It's not about you just, you know, running yourself ragged or whatever. When you see something to do, you do it, and it's done. Like you, whatever. So that can also be another topic. But we have run so far over. It is ridiculous. So, so what we're going to do is close up. I'm glad that you all did this. I would really, if you didn't finish your list, I really suggest that you do that, and that you read these lists every day for 40 days, and 40 days, yes. And then we'll have maybe another, like just a catch up, maybe not necessarily another podcast, but just a catch up to see how close we got to it, see if we can see any improvement or, you know, whatever. And if any of our listeners has done it and they've seen some progress, please feel free to leave us comments in the YouTube comments, or you can send us, I think you can send us an email. Am I not mistaken? They can send us an email.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. So you can send us an email with your results, or sometimes we put questions on the podcast on Spotify, so you can respond to the Spotify questions as well. So that's all we have for you today. I mean, it was a lot, but still, it's all we have for you today.
Yeah, yes. All right, folks, thank you. Don't forget, the email is unofficiallyopinionated@gmail.com. We're unofficially opinionated everywhere on the internet. Just go find us, Twitter, Instagram, all the fun stuff. Hit us up, DM us, all that kind of fun stuff. And yeah, thanks again to our team here. As always, Nate King, our lovely AV editor. Tim Tyrese Brown, graphical designer extraordinaire. Jaden Moore out there with the theme music. Eventually, we'll get his SoundCloud on here before his agent yanks his music from our endeavor here. But yeah, all right. Thanks, guys. Catch you next time.
Ciao.
Bye, Tim.
Bye, Tim.